Welcome to this masterclass series on anticipatory cyber and digital diplomacy for African diplomats. Brought to you by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigeria. Today's distinguished speaker, Mr. Evans Njiru Kithua, AFRIPOL. Together, we explore the future of diplomacy, powered by Consultancy Support Services, CS2 Limited.
In today's interconnected world, cyber diplomacy is no longer a choice, it is a necessity. Cyber interaction influence foreign policies, national security, and economic stability. As cyber threats grow in scale and sophistication, Africa must position itself as a leader in digital governance, cybersecurity, and international cyber negotiations. The question is, are African nations prepared to lead in this evolving digital landscape? My name is Njiru Kithua, a cybercrime analyst and cybersecurity expert with extensive experience in cybercrime analysis, digital forensics, and international cybersecurity collaborations. My journey has taken me through key institutions such as the Africa Union Mechanism for Police Cooperation, where I have engaged in countering cyber threats, shaping policies, and advising on cyber strategies on a continental level. Video. I am going to highlight the nexus between cyber diplomacy and combating cybercrime in securing the African digital landscape. I will share key insights on the cybercrime situation in Africa, efforts in combating cybercrime in Africa, cyber diplomacy, the role it plays in shaping Africa's foreign policy in combating cybercrime, and practical strategies for African cyber diplomats. Whether you are a seasoned career diplomat, policymaker, or an aspiring cyber diplomat, this session will equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to navigate the evolving global cyber landscape. Let's explore how. Africa is experiencing a rapid digital transformation, with most governments and private entities embracing digitization of their services. However, this digital growth is being impaired by underdeveloped cybersecurity infrastructures and has made our nations vulnerable to growing digital risks, which are affiliated with increased technological use such as e-service platforms, mobile money transaction, cryptocurrencies, and social media activities. The cyber attacks primarily target financial institutions, government agencies, and small and medium enterprises. But what is the impact? AFRIPOL and Interpol jointly conducted Africa Cyber Surge 2, a transnational operation that aimed to disrupt key cyber threats. 25 member countries participated, leading to the apprehension of 14 suspects, identification of over 20,000 suspicious networks, dissemination of 150 cyber activity reports, and over 18,000 digital inquiries, which were lodged during that operation. During this specific operation, we were able to observe financial losses of over $40 million US. In 2024, AFRIPOL and Interpol jointly conducted Operation Serengeti, which incorporated 20 African member states and contributed to the success on combating cybercrime activities globally. This operation led to the apprehension of 1,006 suspects, the destruction of over 134,000 malicious infrastructures and networks which were dismantled, the recovery of over $43 million US, and the dissemination of 65 cyber activity reports. This operation identified 35,000 victims who lost over $192 million US. 2025, Operation Red Card through the AFJOC project and Interpol incorporated 7 African countries, targeting the following type of scams: mobile banking scams, investment scams, and messaging app scams. This operation led to the identification of over 5,000 victims, the arrest of 306 individuals, confiscation of over 1,800 devices, and identification of 81 assets. The operation recorded losses of over 305,000 US dollars and the recovery of over 103,000 US dollars. Similarly, the operation uncovered certain organized crime activities. Between 2023 and 2025, AFRIPOL and law enforcement agencies in Africa have identified key cybercrime trends that are common among African member states. They include online scams, which account for 60% of financial fraud in African nations, including mobile-based cybercrime activities, investment scams, pig butchering scams, and romance scams. Business email compromise was another key trend which was observed especially in the year 2023. Phishing and identity theft, which included social engineering attacks, SIM box fraud schemes, and SMS phishing attacks. We had ransomware attacks which used sophisticated malware attacks to various African victims and also other global victims. We also had data breaches which used data harvesters to capture users' credentials such as web cookies and login credentials, and this data was used for sale in dark web marketplaces such as Telegram, Tor, and other dark web channels through mainstream media. The leak of this data is very critical and jeopardizes the digital infrastructures for many organizations across Africa and abroad. The nexus between cybercrime and other crime areas was also a key issue which was identified as a trend, whereby we found that cybercrime is being used to accelerate other crime areas such as terrorism financing and money laundering in transnational organized crime activities. Misinformation and disinformation was another key trend, where threat actors are spreading propaganda for malice and chaotic purposes. What is the dark side of accessibility? Other than weak digital infrastructure, accessibility to commercially available cyber intrusion tools has become one of the key enablers of cybercrime in Africa. Cyber intrusion tools are software or hardware components used by threat actors to exploit vulnerabilities, to gain unauthorized access, or to disrupt systems. These tools can range from simple scripts to sophisticated frameworks. They can help combat cybercrime, but can also be misused to conduct unauthorized cybercrime activities. For example, some of these tools and scripts are used for scams, money laundering, trafficking, unauthorized surveillance, political manipulation, and espionage. The lack of strict policies has led to cyber mercenaries operating unchecked, which compromise national security. We must address this through robust regulatory frameworks and ethical cyber governance policies. And that's where cyber diplomacy will play a vital role in setting some of these global norms. Governments, corporations, and even private actors now have access to sophisticated commercial cyber intrusion tools, and these capabilities present a double-edged sword. How do commercially available cyber intrusion tools empower threat actors in Africa? Number one, through proliferation of tools. These off-the-shelf surveillance and intrusion tools that were once limited to state actors are now accessible on the global market. Number 2, the increased sophistication of attacks whereby threat actors, including organized crime groups and politically motivated hackers, are leveraging the commercially cyber intrusion tools to carry out targeted attacks on government systems, financial institutions, and critical infrastructures. Number 3, the low barrier to entry, whereby some of these tools come with user-friendly interfaces. We even have tutorials available for use on how to use some of these tools. And to some extent, some of these tools come with customer support that allow even non-technical criminals to launch advanced cyber attacks. And lastly, lack of regulation, whereby we observe weak or non-existent oversight that will allow unchecked distribution of intrusive capabilities across borders. Therefore, due to the borderless nature of cybercrime, law enforcement agencies face challenges in tracking and prosecuting cybercriminals due to weak or inexisting legal frameworks and lack of cross-border collaboration. If left unchecked, these threats undermine Africa's digital economy and trust in governance. As AFRIPOL, we have managed to support member states in preventing and combating cybercrime through the following strategies. Number 1, information sharing and support amongst member states. AFRIPOL, through its mandate, has been able to collaborate and coordinate law enforcement agencies in Africa to share critical threat actor information that will combat cyber threats in Africa. Number 2, capacity building and enhanced technologies. AFRIPOL, through its training and capacity building division, has managed to equip law enforcement agencies and officers with technical skills and tools and licenses that will enable them to investigate and combat cybercrime in Africa. Number 3, harmonization of laws within member states. AFRIPOL has organized workshops and invited key relevant stakeholders that will help member states to identify some of the lacking structures that will help prosecute cybercrime within their jurisdiction. And the outcome has seen an improvement in proposals to improve legislation in various jurisdictions when it comes to combating cybercrime. Number 3, joint operation with law enforcement agencies. As we have observed in the various operations mentioned earlier, AFRIPOL has been on the forefront to coordinate operations that have enabled identification of threat actors in the continent and also identification of victims both within the African continent and abroad, and trying to recover some of these assets that victims have lost through threat actors' activities in Africa. Then stronger collaboration with international and private partners. AFRIPOL has really tried to bring together all stakeholders that will help in fighting and preventing cybercrime activities in Africa. This includes bringing the best of the best in this sector to support in providing relevant cyber threat intelligence that has helped to identify threat actors within the continent. Let's take a look at cyber diplomacy and the role it plays in combating and preventing cybercrime. Cyber diplomacy is the intersection of international relations and cybersecurity. It involves the negotiation, collaboration, and governance of cyberspace at global, regional, and national levels. Cyber diplomacy also involves the agreements and negotiation and establishment of frameworks which are aimed at strengthening cyber resilience through collaboration, development of global cyber norms which govern responsible state behavior, and enhancing cross-border law enforcement cooperation. The role of cyber diplomacy in supporting law enforcement against cybercrime includes fostering international cooperation. Cyber diplomacy will help facilitate mutual legal assistance treaties, joint investigation, and information sharing across jurisdictions. It will also help in establishing norms and trust through diplomatic engagement with regional bodies, trade blocs, and global partners to promote common standards for combating cybercrime. This includes addressing cross-border data flows, privacy, and digital sovereignty challenges. Cyber diplomacy through capacity building will help African states negotiate support for training, infrastructure, and technical assistance for law enforcement agencies in Africa. It will also help in policy harmonization by enhancing coherence between national cybercrime laws and international legal frameworks. This includes engaging in shaping international laws, standards, and governance frameworks. Strategic alliances will leverage bilateral and multilateral cyber diplomacy to form strategic partnership in threat intelligence sharing and digital evidence exchange. Africa therefore must engage in platforms such as the Africa Union Cybersecurity Convention and the UN Group of Governmental Experts on Cybersecurity Norms. This will help to address the limitations in cybercrime legislation enforcement at a continental level, enhance cyber incident response mechanisms, and promote Africa's representation in global cyber policy discussions. To achieve this, African nations need dedicated cyber diplomats trained in both technical and policy aspects of cyber governance. Aspiring cyber diplomats can support fighting cybercrime in Africa through the following ways. Number one, integrating technical capabilities of cybersecurity in foreign offices to shape the policy dimensions of cybersecurity in Africa. This will help to bridge the gap between policy and practice, ensuring that diplomatic decisions are informed by real-time threat intelligence, emerging technologies, and evolving cyber risks. Number two, we can engage in global cyber discussions and negotiations to position Africa among the leaders in best cyber practices in the world and to set a benchmark to other nations. This will also ensure that Africa's unique challenges, priorities, and values are reflected in the evolving global cyber governance landscape, while also shaping norms and standards that will promote equitable digital development. Number three, we can advocate for Africa's unique cyber governance needs to ensure that global cyber norms, policies, and frameworks are inclusive, equitable, and responsive to the continent's specific realities. This will ensure that Africa is not only a consumer of global cyber rules, but an active contributor shaping a secure, open, and inclusive cyberspace that reflects African values and interests. And lastly, staying updated with international cybersecurity laws and treaties will be effective to represent national interests, ensure alignment with global norms, and build trust in international cooperation. I want to take this opportunity to thank our partners for their continued support in helping African member states to prevent and combat cyber threats and to promote a healthy digital cyberspace. I will finish off with a quote which says, "The cold water does not get warmer if you jump late." You are the future of cyber diplomacy. Africa needs you to navigate cyber policies and to protect our digital sovereignty. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to continued discussions on building a cyber-secure Africa. Let's shape the future together. Thank you.